All right, fellow people. It's WJ Ward Jr. here. Yeah, I was having a little trouble with my camera for a second. I don't know, it's cheap quality, but it works, and I am here. I'm here for you people, hanging in there. So the title of this one is called "Respect the Commons." Might come off like a derogatory type, you know, statement. But as you go back and you listen to any of my older stuff, older videos, posts, I talk about um, the social hierarchy of things. That we're all supposed to be equal, but I have news for you. It is the farthest thing from. Uh, you can see how unequal we can be when they close down a street for like a movie premiere or something. It's like, hey, I'm trying to get through traffic here. But the celebrities, they're the royalty of. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's actually been up for a while. The royalty of Hollywood. So I'm going upstairs. I'm going up the escalator to my gym, and I do not like to stand, on the escalator. I not because I'm not impatient, is because as I walk to the gym, I like to keep moving, and I like to keep moving at my own pace. This can create a problem when you are walking and there are people in front of you. Uh, I try to respectfully go around, but in this case, I was going up the escalator and there were two. I guess they're women, they're cleaning crew or something. I don't know where they're working in the building or something, but they were taking up the entire escalator thing. So I got to them and I said, "Hey, can I go right through?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "Why? I need to get through here. It's." And she goes, "You take the stairs next time." And I thought about that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that's a good point." Okay, because you know the escalator, is kind of like it's like a people mover. It's supposed to be easy, so you're not really supposed to be walking up it. So if there's people that are blocking it, they're not obligated to move out of the way. I now that I think about that, I was like, yeah, it's better to take the stairs next if I can, so that way, you know, that I won't inconvenience them. I thought about that. I was kind of in the wrong, so it's a lesson learned. It's a lesson learned. Okay, I'm not perfect. See, I'm willing to learn. A lot of people they wouldn't understand it anyway. That because every body is different. Get it? Everybody's body is different. What happens with me if I stand around for a prolonged period of time? I tighten up very quickly. My ligaments, my knee, my meniscus, all worn out. Everything from all my years of squats and lunges and bodybuilding, all that shit. So if I'm moving, it's like an old car. If it's warmed up, it'll run. But if it's just standing or sitting around for a long time, it's tough. I believe me, I feel it. So I try to stay as active as possible. So like when I'm walking, I don't like to move at other people's paces because then generally it's slow. And if I'm moving a lot slower than I'm used to, it tends to hurt me a lot more, put a lot more pressure on everything. So I try to get around people respectfully. I don't have to explain it to every single person that I go around, but a lot of people just don't understand. They don't get it. Ugh, I guess. If you're out walking with a cane or a wheelchair, it's like you don't, they don't get it. So I guess that's partial when I talk about respect for the commons. When I say commons, the common people. In my mind, unfortunately, a lot of people that's what they are. They're part of the GP, the general population. If you're just If you're just a passive observer in life, that's kind of like what you are. You're not doing, you're watching other people do. And that's what the common people generally do, the people that sit in the crowd in life. Went to the market today, but on the way there, I think on the way there, there's some like very expensive, high-end, so bottled juices. I'm starting to see a lot of places that have that. I'm into that too, but it's like they're really expensive. Some of these places, you know, it's like wow, 8.99, 9.99 for one. It's like Jesus. Um, there's a pretty odd chick in there that was looking at the different ones, and one of the girls that worked there was kind of explaining to her. So I moved over. I positioned myself where I was next to this woman that I thought was really nice. So I know the question's coming. So, well, did you, Ward Jr., did you go full blast? Uh, did I go full blast? No. Did I go? Yes. So, when I say full blast, it's like, warrior on. I told you, and warrior on means I don't care if there's like, a circle of people around the one I'm trying to get to. I'm going to do everything I can to talk to the one that I'm interested in. When warrior is not on, that means that if I see something that is pretty good, I will make my presence known, be trying to start a conversation. And generally, I don't press it hard enough to, solicit a phone number or anything further. And that's kind of what happened with this one. I felt like I had her attention for a while too. I just kind of like felt like I was wasting her time. I didn't want to do that. And, sometimes when I'm doing my thing, kind of focused, you gotta, it's tough. It's a tough, because I guess for women too, they choose as a commitment, when they choose somebody. So, you know, you're just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about, oh, my needs. I want to have fun with her. I want to have some fun. And you gotta understand, well, they have their own thing going. It's and it's tough. It's tough to for it to click. Most women, they want that relationship, the commitment from the guy, things. And they can read that. They have a good reading capability. They know what's going on, what you're trying to do. And if you come off as 101, like I talked about before, like 100 guys out there and nothing special, and you're just 101, then you ain't gonna happen. It's the way it is. You could be the only guy staying there, but I told during the day, all these guys are, I heard this thing. It said like to be bold. They're talking about, listen, that far from average. That to be bold, that can stand out. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need money to be bold, but you do need to have a pretty good high degree of confidence. Um, and if you really aren't like really successful, it's hard to have that confidence. Believe me, I know I don't. That confidence, and it depends what type. The confidence can be. It's very easy to stick your foot in your mouth. It's hard. It's like you got to train with anything. I have a friend who talks about how he can't. It's hard to talk things. Well, you just got to keep talking. You just got to keep trying. You got to get better at whatever. Like today in the gym, man, I was going. I was fucking, jeez. But I thought about something today. I kind of had a little bit of enlightenment actually. Because I heard about this. I heard that Bruce Lee was like a champion cha-cha dancer. Even though when he was getting into martial arts, but he won like he was a dancer, and then became famous for his movies and stuff. It's amazing, amazing. And a lot of these people dance and then martial arts. Wow. But the epiphany, the enlightenment was kind of interesting. So I said to myself, I started getting into this fighting and this stuff because of those guys that picked on me. And I'm doing this thing, I'm kicking this bag and stuff like that. And I'm listening to these guys, these self-defense guys, go, look, you're not going to roundhouse a guy with your foot if you ever get into a you know, a street brawl. That's not how it goes down. And I'm sitting there and saying to myself, Mike, I said, Mike, like I'm doing like this choreography, like where I'm hitting these bags and I'm doing this, like a lot of freestyle punch kick stuff. But then like I'm starting to notice that I can actually, it looks like I'm kind of dancing, like when I'm doing my thing and I'm controlling it. And I said, wait a sec, maybe I got something here. Maybe this is something that I could add to my resume. Get really good at this like martial arts choreography, like you're in a movie or something. Look, not everybody was Bruce Lee. I mean, he's incredible, but do you know how many people have that in their arsenal on their resume? Along with dancing. Oh, and they say, oh, what else can you do? It says, well, you know what I do? I also do different types of martial arts. Like choreography stuff. I can. You tell me what to do, I'll show you what I can do. Or you see, look at my demo reel, and stop thinking about getting into confrontations with people. Think about making some money here. That's what's important. Honing your skills. So it's amazing. What started off as one thing, kind of like leads to another. It's like an epiphany that I had. It's really interesting. I thought about that. Um, you know, and just keep plugging away. The grind continues. Sometimes it's like, fuck, man. It's a lot. I mean, and when I left the gym today, I have like this shirt, I don't know, kind of thing, and it's like all soaked. I really fucking go all out, man. I just think about this one life, and I said, man, you just can't go back. When the time starts adding up, it's, fuck, boy, it just goes. I'm well aware of it. I'm well aware of it too, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's like, wow, it goes that fast, huh? Frustrating to me too. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of asked a lot out of it, and when things don't go your way, and more than man, let me tell you, it's that's a real test of a of a character, test of character. When you think you got a plan, like let me give you an example. I've been going to school for a year and a half, trying to work on my doctorate, and I've passed all the classes, and to get the degree, you got to get do these comprehensive exams to get to the dissertation, to defend it, to get the doctorate degree. So, I took these comprehensive exams. There were like 3 questions, but there's like sub questions in there, and it's like the answers are like 10 pages for each question. It's a lot. It's a lot of writing. And there's this guy. What you do is there's like 3 people on the committee that you know decide if you pass or not. You need an average score, something. And I passed the first question, and the other 2 weren't good. And I said, oh, there's this guy on this committee. He's really hard. I mean, it's ridiculously hard. And he was telling me, well, what you wrote for those other 2 questions, you better write something else. So you get 2 chances. So the second time, I just had to do the last 2 questions, and I chose something else. I wrote thoroughly. Heard today I didn't pass. I am not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. Imagine going to school for a year and a half, and here you are, like, you're not saying I'm done, but that's a big deal. You pass that, you're a doctor candidate. It's a big step up. And now it's like looking at other schools. Start back. Do all that year and a half. It wasn't a waste, but you got this plan. Like you're looking at this, and then some of these professors, they'll fucking kill you. I mean, that's. I know I'm not the first, but it's wow. Then you start looking at the costs and stuff like that, how that impedes financial aid. It's and then you look at the power of the degree. That's the most. That's something that really gets to me. I think about that. I remember, like when I got my bachelor's, and had this plans and stuff. And then I said, all right, get the master's degree. I actually paid out of pocket. Like I did a lot of work. It took me like almost 3 years to get my master's. And I thought that was going to be a game changer. Like, you get this master's degree, Master of Science in Sports Administration. On my degree, it says phys ed, but it's weird. I don't know why they fucking wrote that when it said Sports Administration in the degree plan, but apply for all these jobs to work in like community colleges and sports teams, all these things. Nothing. Nothing. I got this EDS degree, which is like, doctorate level. And I knew immediately after I got my master's, I wanted to get my, doctorate. So I'm going the whole fucking way. That's just me. That's how I look at it. And I looked at how long these doctorate programs were, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, it's a big difference, a lot. And I heard of this thing called EDS, Educational Specialist, which is kind of like, it's like halfway. It's like comparing a associate's to a bachelor's. It's like halfway. But it is a title. It's like specialist of of education, higher education admin. So I was like, all right, well, you get this specialist degree first on the way to the doctorate. And I was able to get that. It's kind of cool when I got it from Liberty University. It's like big. I'm trying to show you, it's like this big, and I got the official frame for it. I figured, it's once in a lifetime to get that. So it's like I got it in my living room. It's kind of cool. I got that last year. And what happened was I was like, all right, well, I want to go for the doctorate, transfer. What happened was Liberty University, they wouldn't accept all the transfer work that I took from their school, and that created a problem where I wind up flunking the next two classes. And then once I went somewhere else, they actually changed the policy, which would have worked in my favor. So I hate when that kind of shit happens. But you know what? It's not a waste. Remember, all the work that you've done, all that shit is transferable, most of it. So do not give up hope. A lot of people, they go to school and they give up, and there's times to give up, but then there's times not to. There's times to persevere around. There's ways to go around some of these professors that don't work for you. Plenty of their schools out there. So just remember that. If you want to try to get a doctorate and it takes a lot of research, spend a lot of time researching. Plenty schools out there, that have low costs, so scholarships, grants, and stuff. So and this kind of bothered me, but it wasn't a waste. It wasn't. It was just, man, it's just a lot sometimes. Oh, so what I was talking about. So I got that specialist degree too. I thought that would be, with all these, 4 degrees, associates, bachelor's, master's, EDS. Jeez. Problem with that doctor degree, doctorate, doctor, or whatever. A lot doesn't get. It's the same thing. It's not going to guarantee you anything. I mean, some of these university teaching jobs is, yeah, minimum, have it, but they want like teaching experience already, and my point is that a lot of these people that get these kind of degrees at that level, they're working there, they really, really want to work like in higher education admin or something. And I just don't. I like getting these things as personal accomplishments. I utilize financial aid for it, yes, and I know. But, I do the work though, and the higher up you go, it is tough. I mean, dissertation's no fucking joke. I know people really put a lot in to do it, but unless it really benefits you, it's kind of like, cute title, doctor and stuff. I know, but it's still, think about what kind of work you're talking, years it takes to get this fucking thing, and if you don't use it, it's kind of like, believe me, the sparkle goes away with anything. I've noticed that as I've gotten older. I used to be excited about things, And then I don't know what happened. I just kind of like things are just not like they used to be. I used to be excited to go out dancing. I used to be. Now it's like just fuck. And it's not COVID. It's just time. What happens is the older you get, the older people they just stay home. They don't. They're done. They don't run around like they used to be. Their needs are met, or they made their money, or whatever. And it's like they go along with the commons. The sheep. I heard really, really good David Icke or whatever. I forget what it was on YouTube. Something. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Under Be Inspired. Not just one thing that guy said. A lot of things that guy said. But he said what? Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. He did say one thing that really stuck with me. And he goes, "I rather live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep." And I was like, wow, Jesus. A lot of that stuff that that he says hits me right between the eyes. I mean, it's like just right there. Bam, so on. He's so on. But the problem is, he gets a bad rep. Because he really tries to do his best to explain things in detail. He calls it the going down the rabbit hole, and he talks about everything from COVID, that 9/11, anything. He says like that there's societies behind the veil of secrecy. You know, somebody's got to be controlling something. People make decisions. There's got to be, but when he starts getting into the dark energy that's being used by he talks about the reptilian race or something, other dimensions, and the archons or whatever. Problem is, he gets a bad rep for that because a lot of people they go right to that. There's no proof, man. We talking about lizard people and stuff or other dimensions, but you got to start with that guy from the beginning. And if you start listening to him from the beginning, you'll get it. You'll come away with something. And if you don't, then your mind is closed. I'm sorry. And that dude is about waking up consciousness, people on the planet, instead of being sheep, going along with the herd. You know, but learning how to think for yourself, think to be a better self, is really something. Sometimes that guy says it's really incredible. Wish I remembered some of the other lines that he said, but that was kind of that's a good indicator of what he said. He did, some stage shows where he really goes all the way down the rat, and I could tell, but the people there, they're open minded. They are fucking open minded about everything. Anyway, let's conclude. Let's make it brief. Yeah, I just want to finish up. Let me get a quick second wind and get this one out. I don't want to lose my edge, the warrior mentality. You know, I don't know if I'm like if when I was doing approaches, if I was overthinking too much, if I was scared of rejection, being too picky. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because it's very easy to resort back to old bad habits. Very easy. Just remember that. Remember that stuff like porn, stuff like things ain't gonna fucking really help you. It's easy. It's hard. It's challenging yourself with anything. I was talking with one of my neighbors a little bit outside before I went to the library, and it's like, I don't know, you have to remember you're not in prison wherever you are. You get like one life while we're here. You might get more in the afterlife, but in this material world, you get one. That's it. I just see a lot of people not really like doing anything with it. Like existing is not living. Breathing, I mean, you have to breathe to stay alive, but breathing is not, it's not really living. Life, you should challenge yourself. You should take chances. If this doesn't work, hey, let's try this. Let maybe try that. If that doesn't work, all right, let me get into this. Why not? One thing you don't want is if you live long enough, at the end, the real end, you don't want to fucking have a conversation with yourself going, damn, why didn't I fucking at least try this when I could? You don't want to leave anything out there. Way better to fail than not know. People don't want to fail though. They don't want to look like idiots. Society is very judgmental. Believe me. What I talk about, why I call this Warrior Junior, because it is hard as fuck to go up to like anytime you see the kind of women you like and try to do approaches without getting some type of embarrassment or ridicule or I mean confrontations. During the day, not so bad. At night, totally different animal. All right, something to think about. Till next time. Hope you enjoyed this one. Warrior Junior signing off.